Hello and good morning, everyone. It's Michele Maher here, and I'm here with Abby McDonald this morning. Thank you so much, Abby, for giving me your time to talk about the challenging times that we're going through right now on a global basis and the importance of keeping a positive mindset and how we can pivot right now, whether it's your business or your life in general. So thank you again, Abby. If you can just give us a few words about who you are and what you're all
Thank
about.
you. Thank you, Michele. Thank you. I'm so grateful for you inviting me to your show. And what can I say, Michele? This COVID-19 kind of caught us all off guard across the world. It's very much a unique, unprecedented situation that we're in, and very much a bit of a global crisis at the moment. So there's lots of lessons and lots of golden nuggets of wisdom that we can get out of this, and very much all sort of reflect in terms of what brought us here, and where we are in this moment and where we can potentially move forward. So that requires a lot of reflection and so on. And something that I just wanted to share, that I was chatting with a friend of mine about this, is that in times of crisis, it's very important, I think, for community to stay together and to support one another. And I think that when a crisis happens in general, we get back to basics, and it's all about helping your neighbor, so to speak, encouraging your neighbor, supporting one another, encouraging one another. I think that's very important right now. So what I'm foreseeing is that this global crisis is going to shift us to focus on local, because whenever something of this magnitude occurs, we have to get back to the roots, back to the basics, and that's where we're at the moment.
Right. Yes, I totally agree. So yeah, what we do see a lot of community coming together, and I think that you are also involved with I think you're making masks. Well, not you.
Yes.
Distributing masks and
Yes.
and making them at this point in time. So we have seen a lot of community and supporting local and all kinds of initiatives to support local restaurants, support local online businesses and small businesses and things like that. And it's great to see that community come together.
Yes.
So yes, what is it? You didn't tell us what you do, though.
Oh, yes, I have to get into what I do. Well, I run an executive search business called Dynamic Synergy Group.
Right.
And we're in the talent acquisition business, essentially. And what we do is we staff offices for companies, pretty much. And I've been in this business for quite some time, not to give away my age, but I would say, close to 20 years I've been in the business, in the industry, if you will.
Right.
And, of course, we've been affected in the sense that, back to what you were sharing initially prior to us having this interview, is that, naturally, when something like this occurs, companies, they put on, a lot of companies put on a hiring freeze, if you will. And that is essentially to monitor costs, to review their budgets. Everyone's sort of in wait and see mode to see what's happening. Unfortunately, there have been a lot of layoffs in terms of the conversations that I've had with clients, and just keeping up to date with what's happening, in being informed with what's going on.
Well, yes, some industries have been hit so hard, like the travel industry. Absolutely. And the airline industry.
Yeah, exactly. And then on a positive note, there are pockets of industries that you shared as well that are booming as a result. You know, in crisis, there's always an opportunity. So, for example, the grocery stores are crushing it right now.
Yes, I just saw it this morning. They said Loblaws expects to boost,
Yeah,
post a record profit for Q1.
exactly. And then there's also like logistics industry, which is a niche market that we specialize in. There's lots of opportunity there. Amazon is, I think I just read an article, when was it, about 2 weeks ago, has a plan to hire 100,000 employees, to use it as an example. So there are opportunities, and in terms of just being positive, and for myself, witnessing various cycles in the industry, you know, I would say that you just have to look for the opportunity. You have to put your focus there. You have to forget about what's gone, forget about the past, and really stay completely present with where we're at in this moment, and use all your attention to look for the opportunities that are there. And you know, that requires some research. Also, what I would recommend to anyone in business, you know, you definitely want to do a lot of networking as well online. What you're doing is a form of networking. So you really want to connect with others, and also just keep the human element of it. Like, don't make it just about business, you know, make it personal, you know, care about people.
Right, exactly. This is the time for people who do have small businesses to reach out to their clients and reach out to the customers and just ask, how are you doing? How are you
Yeah,
dealing with this? Is everybody in
exactly.
your family okay? How,
That's
how's your
right.
health? How, do you need anything? What are you looking for right now? I do see a lot of people coming together and helping, offering to help others. And of course, like you said, all the networking groups have moved to online.
Hmm.
It's great that we have this technology.
thank Thank God we have this technology. Absolutely. This is what's keeping us connected. I mean, ultimately, human connection, we all crave that human connection. We're human beings, you know. I miss going to the networking events and so on. But back to pivoting with positivity. If this is where we're at in this moment, and I
Mhm.
really believe that we need to try our best to stay in this moment with where we are. Not in a sense that we're stuck in this place, because we want to think in progression terms, in terms of moving forward, but we want to radically accept where we're at in this moment. I think that's very key for a lot of people. Um, you know, I found that just, you know, dwelling on the past and what was, really, really blocks you from moving forward. It can block you from moving forward. You know, comments like, oh, the good old days and the this and the that, all of that is living in the past. And I think that when you do that, you block yourself from seeing potential opportunities moving forward, right? So
Right.
I think, yeah, so I think it's what I would share with anyone that can help with positivity in this difficult time is just to, sorry, I'm just fixing my lighting here. It's just to accept this moment as best as you can. Whatever comes up, you know, moments of sadness comes up, moments of anger that comes up, moments of frustration that comes up, that all of that is okay.
Yes.
Just accept whatever moments you're in and just let it pass. And then look to the light and just move forward is what I,
Yes. Yeah, totally.
yeah.
That's totally right. And I did hear a word earlier in this the course of doing these interviews, and it was surrender. That we need
Exactly.
to surrender,
Yes.
because we always want to have control, and we
Mm-hmm.
lost that control. And I think that's why there was so much fear initially, because of that extreme loss of control, over everything. And we always feel the need to be in control, but in this
Mm-hmm.
point, there's nothing that you can do with respect to the the virus and the stay at home orders and things like that, except except what you have to do to keep yourself safe and keep your family safe and what you've been asked to do. But you need to just accept and choose how you're going to perceive this whole situation. Like you say, be present.
That's beautiful what you just said. Choose how you're going to perceive. That's key what you just said.
Yeah.
We choose.
It's all
We
perspective.
have the power to choose how we're going to perceive this experience. An experience, or the meaning that we attach to each experience is in our control. The situation may not be in our control, but how we perceive the experience, what you just shared, is definitely in our control, and how we can move through this transition, because it is very much a transition into a new world and a new normal, and how we can, by radically accepting this moment and looking for the lessons in this moment, how we can gracefully transition into this new normal, if you will, because it's not going to be the same. It's obvious that it's not going to be the same. I was just having a walk with a friend of mine, Sarah McAvan, and we were chatting about it. Social distance, of course, just so you know, masks. We were just chatting about the fact that, things are not going to be the same. Conferences have been hit, networking events have been hit very hard. We're probably not going to see those types of events for another close to 2 years, I would say, until this vaccine is coming out and so on. And that is a whole other controversial issue.
Yes.
Without going there. But so online is really here to stay right now. Whether we like it or not, this is the way it's going to be. I've had to adjust to it.
Right.
I've had to adjust to it.
Yeah, and really from the perspective of the large corporations, like everybody down on Bay Street and all the banks and everything, where's everybody now? Everybody's working from home, right?
Yeah.
So all of these corporations are going to really be probably revisiting the way they did business, the way they ran their businesses. And as you know, there's a lot of times where things are done a certain way because that's the way they were always done. And exactly. I think that this is causing a lot of people to, revisit that and look at things, whether it be your life or your business, or if if you're running a business or your management at a corporation, you can look to how you were running things and how you were living your life prior to this, and is that how you want to be going forward? Exactly.
I think it's a blend of holding what works and letting go of what doesn't.
Yeah.
To simplify it.
Right.
It's just because there are fundamental principles that are still valuable.
Oh, definitely.
In any business that has a proven effect on being successful. So I think it's a blend. I am the seeker of balance. If there, a lot of people say there is no such a thing as balance or whatever, but I don't think in extremes. I like to think in balance. And that's just me. I like to seek balance. So from this whole experience, I think that if we can keep what's working with those proven principles that have worked for eons, and then reinvent and think of new innovative ways that we can pivot in our businesses or in our personal lives and bring the two together, I think that would give us solid ground, if you will, solid ground. So yeah.
Yeah,
does that resonate with you, Michele?
That's what I'd like to see going forward with everything. like you say, this time right now is a time to serve your community.
Yeah.
And as well, it's also a good time for you to, if there was something on you know, on the list of things you wanted to do in your life or things you wanted to learn, whether it be something related to your business or even just, you know, some hobby you've always wanted to try, this is the time as well. With the
Absolutely. We have
technology,
a lot of
so much.
time.
Yeah,
100%. This is the time, 100% to explore things. You know, I was thinking of taking, you know, in terms, since you brought up hobby, you know, I thought of taking Spanish. I took Spanish, taking another language. I took Spanish for, you know, in high school and 1 year in university, and I never completed it. And I thought about it. I thought, why not take a language or something as a hobby, you know?
yeah, exactly. We've got the
Yeah,
technology. It's pretty, you
exactly.
know, there's no barrier from that perspective for you to learn
Sure.
anything like that. And same with your business. If somebody has a business, you know, there's certain aspects of your business that you wanted to work on. I know I've heard a woman who had a clothing boutique, physical brick and mortar location, always wanted to have an online presence and an online store. But of course, she, you know, our famous saying was always, I don't have time. When I have time,
Mhm.
I will do this and that. So now, of course,
Yeah,
she's had to quickly get that thing online and get it all working. And this is a way that going forward, she'll have a physical location and an online presence. So I think
amazing.
there's a lot of things that are going to come out of that where you will see networking groups and networking events where you'll see a balance of online and in person.
Sure.
I believe as
I,
well.
I agree. I agree with you. Yeah, yeah. And it's amazing. It's amazing. Like I really believe in crisis there is opportunity. That Chinese proverb.
Right.
There's crisis and opportunity, like opportunity in a crisis always, right? And it's a matter of what we do with it. I think it was Winston Churchill that once said, "Never waste a good crisis." And my thing is this: you're not learning lessons from the experience, then you're losing out on golden nuggets of wisdom and preventing yourself from growing and evolving as an individual, as a whole individual. So it would be a shame if this has all happened and we don't use it as an opportunity to learn and to grow.
Exactly. And that's what it is. I think that is why this is happening in the first place. We were going at
Exactly.
such a pace before that, and always the need for instant gratification, because with our
Yes.
phones, everything,
Ah,
you know, it just, things weren't even quick enough, and yet they were quick. So,
exactly. Exactly.
so it's just not sustainable. Then there's the whole earth,
Mhm.
the whole you know, what was happening to the earth with all the natural disasters that were happening more on a more frequent basis.
Mhm.
So it's like we just couldn't keep going at that pace.
Exactly.
And now we've been had all the distractions removed from us, and we've been asked to slow down and actually, you know, have time to be present, like you said.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, I think it's so beautiful, especially for families. They're getting to spend time with their kids. I think that's beautiful. Bond with their children more. You know, I was chatting with someone who said, he said his kids are so happy he's home. I think that's so beautiful. There's so much beauty and good that can come out of this, that is coming out of this. But once again, back to what you shared, it's um, using the perception, like how you see things, how you see things. If you see it as an opportunity to bond with your family, your children, you know I've been spending, ironically, I'm very close with my family, and I have a pretty big extended family. And you know, we're pretty close, but we've been closer than ever since this has happened with, my parents and, my mom, we're working on distributing these masks together. We're working well together and so on. So it's been an incredible bonding experience, and that's beautiful,
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's a beautiful thing.
Right. And I think so. And I think what the kindness of community coming together also raises the vibration, right? The vibration of the world. There was a meditation, there was that global meditation, I think it was the beginning of April. There was one day that they were going to do a global meditation, and apparently the vibration of the earth was measured before and during, and it had risen quite substantially. So if kindness will raise the vibration of the world, and that will help us to get out of this.
Yes.
I know that's why it's so important. Well, you say acknowledge your fear, acknowledge your sadness. People have had the up and down. And I know myself as well. At the beginning, I was so fearful, and I could feel myself getting into that fear. And of course, it becomes, it's contagious. Like everybody, the fear, you just get
Like a
sucked
contagion
right
that just
into it, and you
spreads.
don't want to get. But I knew I didn't want to stay there. I didn't want to stay in fear. So
Michele, I love this. I love listening, to you sharing this. It's amazing because I've known you for a couple of years now,
yeah.
and like just to hear how you're chatting, like you've grown so much. Like it's just incredible. It's just incredible. Like I love, like spiritually speaking, I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. I think
Well,
that's
it's been I've been on the webinar every Tuesday with Jeffrey Eisen that has been putting,
he
right?
was my coach. Remember
Yeah,
Jeffrey?
exactly.
Jeffrey
And
for
he
yeah,
has so much wisdom, and
yeah.
so really it's
He's amazing.
yeah. So now I'm really seeing the opportunity that we've been given,
Yeah.
and like you say, it's the perception. I
Mhm.
totally have stopped watching any news.
Good.
Initially, I was watching the news.
Yeah.
Everything was changing so quickly that everybody wanted to be informed.
Yep.
And then, of course, social media as well. I've unfollowed so many people on Facebook, which I never did
Mhm.
before. But just I'm trying to
Mhm.
stay away from all that fear and negativity, and
Mhm.
just keep a positive mindset and see the
Well,
opportunity.
I can feel it from you. I can feel it. So I'm going to
Yeah.
mirror that
So
back to you. I can feel it. I can feel that you're really living in that positivity
yeah,
and trying to make the best out of this, and you've seen the opportunity in terms of connecting with others and supporting others, and you're actually doing it. And I think that's incredible.
yeah.
It's an amazing feeling to contribute and to help one another. It really is, and uplift one another. And I
It
think
is.
you're doing an awesome job,
Well, thank you.
taking the time to put this, taking time out of your day to do this for people. I think it's amazing. So that's awesome, Michele.
Thank you. So what would you what advice would you give to people who are, they have lost their job or were looking for a job before any of this started, and of course, they're still in the process of looking for a job. What are you telling your
Candidates that I'm
clients to do?
chatting with, yes. Well, first of all, like Michele, it was like literally every other day over the past couple of weeks, people were reaching out and saying they were getting laid off. I've had clients laid off.
Maybe that you had just placed or something?
No, no, well, not candidates that I placed, but like clients, that they were senior executives and
Yeah.
stuff laid off and so on.
Right.
And it's heartbreaking, So initially, I try to give them as much emotional support, the candidates that I speak with. In terms of pragmatic, practical suggestions that I might share, is that first of all, that you want to take the time to reflect, to get very clear, use it as an opportunity to see if something needs to change in your career, and get very clear on what your core competencies are. That's something that I help candidates with. I take them through an exercise to get very clear on what their talent, their skills are and their talents are, and how to figure out what they enjoy the most to the least. And, you know, a simple exercise like that helps them get really clear. And I've actually had instances with candidates where they share, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do sales anymore. I want to do operations. Right. And just through the exercise. So it's very enlightening.
Right.
So I would share, use the time wisely to reflect. Number one, reflect. Yeah. Reflect on the job that you lost. What did you like about your job? What didn't you not like so much? Okay, reflect on those. Secondly, I would definitely highly recommend that you really get your resume together in such a way that it's going to stand out. I would definitely suggest you get some professional career advice about that, so that you can present yourself in such a way where using keywords that will attract the attention of a hiring manager when there's a resurgence of hiring that happens, because it will.
It will.
It will. So,
yeah, for sure.
So, you know, you want to prepare. You definitely want to prepare, and you want to have a clear job search strategy. You want to have a clear job search strategy. I'll give you an example of something that has changed over the years, and, you know, being in this business for a while, witnessing so many changes. LinkedIn, for example, is like a beast. Everybody's on LinkedIn. And now LinkedIn is being used as a preliminary screening as part of the preliminary screening process by the hiring managers.
Right.
And social media in general. So when a hiring manager gets your resume, they're like checking you out on LinkedIn, they're checking you out on Facebook, they're, you know, they want to see what you're all about, that personal element of
right.
It. So what I share with candidates is that you want consistency in the brand of who you are throughout social media, as well as on your resume. Exactly. You want everything consistent, because when you do that and you have that consistency, then it leaves no room for, it mitigates potential objections to why they would want to call you for an interview, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes,
so,
right, yeah.
So it's very important to clean that up.
Exactly. You don't want to be one person on LinkedIn and then they go to your Facebook and see some other.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So that's what I would suggest to candidates. I would also share that don't be so hard on yourself. Okay. And also, due to the magnitude of what has happened, you know, don't be so attached to getting the ideal opportunity right away, because you may have to accept what I call an in-betweener job. In the meantime, between time, keep the cash flow going, to pay the bills.
Yeah.
And that's okay. There's no shame in that. You do what you have to do to feed your family.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So there's a high probability there's a lot of people that will have to take those in-between jobs. I like to be, you know, give candidates, you know, a realistic opportunity, not to discourage them that they're not going to find the ideal opportunity, but, you know.
Yeah, exactly. It might be, again, there's so much uncertainty. We don't know what everything's going to look like going forward, or any sort of timeline in terms of what's going to happen. Like I know for myself, I had so many live events that I had vendor tables booked at that have been postponed. Some of them now have been postponed 2 or 3 times. Yeah. Now they're postponed to the fall, and I don't even know. Will we have events that are 100 people, 200 people in the fall? I don't know.
Nobody really knows. I'm hoping that it would be sooner. Of course, we are all hoping that it would be sooner, but we're all kind of just, you know what? This is comforting for anyone who's feeling discouraged. The whole world is winging it right now. Don't
And
compare yourself to anyone. Everyone
right,
has been,
everybody's been affected. That's the thing.
everybody, we
Everybody,
are in this together.
regardless of your income level, social status, or
It
anything,
doesn't matter.
you still can get the virus and you still have to stay at home.
Exactly. Like, that's just it, right? So we've all been affected.
Yeah.
So I would share, don't be so hard on yourself. Do the best that you can in this moment. If you need to sneak in a Netflix movie and you're feeling emotionally drained, you know what? That's okay. That's okay.
Exactly.
Some people are trying to cope, depressed, they're worried about money, finances, family. Like, you know, I think people need to be gentle with themselves and not be so hard on themselves,
Yes,
right?
and no judgment, no
No
judgment
judgment.
of others.
No
And of
judgment.
course,
If you want to sneak a nap in the day, take it. If it's going to keep
exactly.
your sanity, take it.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
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 Yes, for sure.
And we will get through this. Like, this is not forever. This is a temporary situation. It's difficult, but the beauty of it all is we're all in this together.
And
That's
that's
it.
how we're going to come out of this
Yeah,
together. I think the kindness and community together is going to bring us out of this.
that's just it. The kindness, the sense of community, generosity,
Mm, yeah.
generosity, helping one another, supporting, lending an ear to someone who's going through a difficult time. How are you doing to your clients? How are you doing? How's your family doing? That type of conversation, not aggressive over sell, because
No, no.
we're not in that space right now. There's a time and a place for that. And right now, it's not a good time to be pushy or aggressive, overly aggressive with sales at the moment. No.
No, no, it's not. And for some of the people who have lost their job or are or were, looking for a job before this, maybe this is also an opportunity for them to look to maybe would they like to do their own business, start their own business, start something online. There's so many opportunities
Listen,
there.
I'm going to
You
tell
have a
you,
chance to explore it now.
1000%. I am one of those people who was let go and unemployed and got into the search business. That's how I got into the search business.
Right.
I applied for a job at a competitor. I was in the financial services industry. I think we had talked about this. And I applied for, I think it was a portfolio administrator position at this fancy investment council downtown on Front Street. And I got this job. I went on 4 interviews over 2 months, got the job, and I was let go a week and a half later. I left my comfortable job and I was walking into an unemployment office. And that's how, and then an opportunity presented itself, a woman who had an executive search business, amazing woman. In fact, she has had such an impact on me that it's beyond. Her name was Ann Fowler. Well, there were 2 women, Ann Fowler and then Nori Jacobs, who was her business partner. Nori Jacobs was my mentor. And this woman, Ann Fowler, was a pioneer in home-based recruiting businesses. She had a fancy office down on Bay Street. And one day she got rid of all her antique furniture and everything and took it home and started a home-based business. So that's how I started out in the business. And then I started my own business after working 6.5 years with them. I started this business.
Okay.
So I'm proof that you know what, you could turn a unfortunate situation of being laid off, and it can open up an opportunity to start a business or something. For sure.
Exactly, right.
For sure.
And, this is the time for you to explore that because we've got the technology and you're at home and you have the time. So
you have the time. This is the season of side hustles. The season of side hustles,
yes,
right?
yes. And
Yeah.
I think we're going to see a lot of innovation coming out of this time as well.
Mm-hmm.
New ways of doing business, new technologies, things like that. So Yeah.
Absolutely. It's actually ironic, like it may not feel that way at times. It's actually a very exciting time in history. It really is. You know, have literally, I read somewhere, we fell asleep in an old world and woke up in a new world. That's where we're heading. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of cleaning up to do. We've got a lot of work to do. And, you know, there's a lot of the old ways of being that are still ineffective, that people are still clinging to, and they've got to let go of that, and we have to be open. We have to be open and look to the light, you know, and take it one day at a time.
Exactly.
One day at a time.
Yeah.
No over planning and over strategizing and all of that. Just be flexible, adaptable.
Yeah, definitely. This is teaching us that for sure. And there's too much uncertainty too. Worrying about the future will not serve anybody.
It's just not.
Worry never does serve anybody.
Worry never does. Just there's no point. There's no point, because yeah, we're all taking it one day at a time.
Right.
We're all taking it one day at a time.
Yeah, just decide who you're going to be, who you want to be when you get on the other side of this, and get, you know, to spend your time laying the foundation for that person that you want to end up.
Who do you want to be?
Who you want to be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the key. Who do you want to be?
Yeah.
Who do you want to be out of all of this?
Exactly.
You know?
Yes.
So,
yeah.
Thank you so much, Michele.
More compassionate world. That's the plan. All right.
More compassionate world. Yes.
Thank you so much for your time, Abby. It was great talking to you. And I will put your information underneath this interview when I put it up as well.
Thank you.
And I look forward to when we can meet in person again.
Oh, that would be lovely. We will, and we will be celebrating.
No, we will be.
I'm putting it out there.
For sure, we will be.
Take care, Michele.
Okay.
All right. Take care. Have a good one. Take care. Bye.
Thanks. You too.
Bye.